Orlando. I missed you standing on the edge. I think that song, though, is about a dead sister, so it's probably not the best song for me to listen to when my sister was away.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways. Well, we're on because I just got the ping, so that's good.
Ping.
Ping. So here we are. Sorry for being a little late.
Yeah, it's okay.
I gotta turn my volume off. There we go.
I was late too.
Well, I thought I was gonna have a full day off today, and then I got a last minute request to be at the our monthly managers meeting. Was gonna be. It's usually the first Monday of the month, but next Monday is the Labor Day show at the Omaha.
Yeah.
And so I'll be out there flying all day. So we had it today. And the main thing that we talked about before we get into everything else is that we are having our first ever Hobbyplex, the Great Hobbyplex Inventory Purge is happening September 25th and 26th, Saturday and Sunday. That's why we're not racing that weekend.
Oh, wow.
So there's going to be just massive amounts of old inventory laid out on all the pit tables downstairs for like ridiculously low prices.
Low prices.
Like we're going to have like a whole table that's $1.
$1.
Yeah. And like a whole table that's $5 and a whole table that's $10. So
$10.
So normally what I used to do was go and when stuff got old, I'd put it on eBay. And then eBay changed their system and kind of like
eBay changed the system, kind of like,
I don't know.
I'm like your hype man.
Yeah, you like my hype man. But so anyways, so we're not going to do on eBay right now, and we need a way to get rid of this old stuff. So we've got like old Mugen parts, Techno parts, B5, B5M parts, old B4 parts, old low C, original 22, 2.0s, 3.0s, all that stuff that's unusable now for all the new cars. If you still got that stuff, come in because you'll be able to get bags of parts for like $20. It's gonna be great.
$20, dude. Do you remember at Old East Park when they would do they had the bins, like the bargain bins, and Chad Yost to do this thing where you could grab a handful of parts, like you can't look at what you're getting. You just reach into the bin and you take out a handful of parts, and that was like $10. Like no matter how much is in there, like it's $10.
Oh, really?
And you have to take everything that you got.
Yeah, we thought about. I mean, basically, that's what we're trying to do is something like this, where.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to organize it a little bit.
Yeah.
By car type, because that's what I would do on eBay. So. We'll see how it goes. The garage sale. So basically, we started off the summer with our biannual scratch and dent garage sale. And it had such a good response and such a huge turnout. I mean, there were people lined up all the way around the building.
Yeah. So remember the clerk's joke that I made?
Yeah.
About it? Yeah.
So
and you were late.
Yeah. So we're gonna end the summer with something similar, but it won't be garage sale stuff. It's more like it's actual like new product, just marked down.
I mean, that's a pretty good idea because then you get rid of all that excess inventory. It's just taking up space so you can get like new stuff that's trendy and hip and happening and ready to sell for Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
Basically.
Because you got your holiday early buy coming in soon, don't you?
No, not really. We haven't done that for a couple of years because with COVID, you're just trying to get whatever's available. So it's been like every week is basically an early buy for us.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't want to. We're trying not to run out of stuff. Like other hobby stores have ran out of stuff to sell. We don't want to be in that situation, so we've been just trying to get whatever we can get our hands on.
COVID.
Ugh. So ready for that to be over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Anyways, hey, this is the Hobbyplex show. And I'm Alex Sturgeon, manager, race director for the Hobbytown Hobbyplex in Omaha, Nebraska, the original one. And with me, as always,
I'm Will Brinton. Yeah, that's what my underwear says.
And we're here to talk about anything and everything Hobbyplex related, and maybe a little bit more here for us. This show is brought to you, as always, by Pivot Lending Group. They've basically been paying for this show for the most part for almost a year and a half now. It's been great. And you can find them at pivotlending.com. If you call them up, mention our show to Don Zoller or Aiden Olson's dad, and get yourself hooked up with a refinance or a home loan, you get $500 lender credit or 0.125 off of your interest rate. How about that?
How about that?
How about that, y'all?
Yeah. Get 0.125 off your interest rate. How about that?
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
That's bringing it back, unfortunately. Yeah. I watched a video of hers. I wasn't impressed. Yeah. I don't even remember the song. That's how unimpressive it was.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a song.
Yeah, there is. I think there's like a whole album.
What?
I think there's like a whole album of hers. I don't even know her name. She's just, how about that girl?
You should do a duet with Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil must like hate her. I don't know. Or love her.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Dr. Phil's... Is his show even on anymore?
No idea.
Yeah, me neither. See? So it doesn't really matter.
I haven't been home to watch daytime TV in a long time.
Oh, yeah. You work
and when I do...
You work for a living.
Yeah, I work for... Yeah. And when I do, it's usually Jerry Springer. Or Steve Wilkos. Get off my stage! He like throws a chair.
I saw something with Jerry Springer just the other day. He's looking old.
Oh yeah.
He is old. What am I saying? That was a great time in my life. Coming home from high school, flipping on Channel 42, watching Jerry Springer.
Mm-hmm.
At like 3 o'clock maybe or 4 o'clock. No, cartoons were on, so it must have been earlier than that. Maybe it was skipping
Jerry
school.
Jerry Springer was on around 2:30.
Yeah,
2:30,
maybe it was
and then
skipping school.
Then it was Maury. Then it was Steve Wilkos. No, it was Steve Wilkos because he was actually
he was the bouncer.
One of the security.
Yeah,
he was a security guy on Jerry Springer, and then it was Maury, and then The Simpsons. 2 episodes of The Simpsons.
Oh yeah,
I remember right. On KXVO, Channel 15.
Oh yeah, my sister. I think my sister and brother-in-law both worked at 42 and 15, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
That is correct.
Yeah. See,
who is that gal that was like the cartoon DJ on that show that wore like jean overalls, the overall shorts? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I do.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't
remember her name.
Off.
What happened to her? Is she still alive?
Yeah, I think. As a matter of fact, I think she is the executive director of Girl Scouts of Omaha.
What? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I saw something on the news about that.
Yeah.
At one time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Keep up the good work if you listen to this show. Gal that we can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But I watched you every day after school. So
Teresa.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Teresa. Kids Club.
Kids Club.
Well, what do we got going on today? So you want to talk about the Nats, the Roar Nats first, and then we'll get into our stuff. So national news, I guess.
Yeah, let's talk about the Roar Nats. How about that?
I see a theme going in the show.
Yeah.
We had 2 locals go to the Nats this year. It was Nate Sutherland and Tom Rinderknecht.
Yeah.
I think that was it, right? There wasn't any more locals that we knew of.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah. Tom made the mains in both 2-wheel and 4-wheel.
That's pretty badass.
And Nate made the 13.5 four-wheel main and the truck main, and he won the B in two-wheel drive, if I remember correctly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I mean, knowing Nate, I don't think he's happy with that at all. I think he would have rather been in the A.
Well, I mean, wouldn't everybody rather be in the A?
But, winning the B. And again, I just want to point out, no bumps at this one either.
No bumps. Say what? Yeah, I mean, that was like, it's like, man, hopefully they, like, dude, we're not the only podcast talking about how badly we desperately want bumps at races. And it's like, it's like, dang, like I was hoping the people would have kind of spoken on this one and give them what they want,
Yeah.
kind of deal. And didn't happen.
So
maybe next year.
Maybe, I don't know. Probably not, because the thing is when I was on the executive committee as comp director, I've said this on here before. I brought it up that we should have bump ups in 8-scale electric and in 10-scale electric, because all these other races that are really popular, they do bump ups. And it's not that hard, And we voted on it. And in 2017, the year after ours at the Plex, they did bump ups. They only did one, but at least it was a bump up from all lower mains. At least you had a shot.
Yeah.
And
something.
And then the following year in 2018, as from what I understand, the race director nixed it. Said, nope, we're just not going to do it. And
who's the race director in 18?
I don't know, and I don't really remember. All I know is that's when I had my panic attack, and that's when I was pretty much done with Roar.
Oh yeah, remember that time I drove you to the hospital when you're having a panic attack?
Yeah, it was all over that. That's pretty much what it was over.
It was on my birthday.
Yeah, because it was freaking out, because all these people were like online going, what the heck's going on? Like when they announced they weren't going to do bump ups, all these people online were like, what the heck is this all about? We did bump ups last year. Why are we not doing it this year? Why would they change it? Why are we going back to this and all that? And then they started saying, the normal stuff, Roar sucks, and then the XCOM is dumb. And I'm part of the XCOM, so I took it kind of personally and kind of freaked out about it. Like, why are we not doing this? Why? It doesn't make any sense to me.
They took a big step backwards by doing that, I think, because there wasn't one person that was like, man, I can't believe they're doing bump ups, No, nobody. Not that I know of.
Honestly, there was a few pros that normally make the A main that I know of that were like a little. I wouldn't say. How do I put it? They were like, they didn't like it. Just put it that way. They didn't like it. It's a minimum, a very few amount of them, I think, but I know of at least a couple that didn't like it because they thought that it would take a spot away from them making the main. But then they did the 10. But then they did the 10+1. Which on most tracks, that's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And I think that's how they negotiated that in 2017. We're like, all right, well, we'll do bumps, but we're not going to do like we do, top 8+2 or top 9+1. They did a 10+1, which that was a fair way to do it. And then they just went backwards. And now you're in the B main. You're in the B main. There's nothing else you can do except say that you won the B main.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised any of the pro drivers would complain about that, because normally they just kind of go along with the rules. But it's like, dude, if you're qualifying 10th, I mean, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
You're not going to win from 10th on the grid. Yeah. When does that ever happen?
Well,
at a Nats.
Not at the Nats.
At a Nats.
But Kinwald won the 93 Worlds from, I think, 8th on the grid.
Yeah, but it's not last.
It's close,
and
though.
Kinwald.
Close to it.
And it's Kinwald.
I know.
It's Kinwald.
I know.
That's Kinwald.
Hang on. I'm gonna open this up now because it's cold and I got ice. So hang on 1 second.
Ice. Huh?
We haven't done one of these in a while.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I took a nap was because I haven't had one of these all day. So I went to that meeting and then I was just like exhausted because Boy, that even sounded good.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so cold. Oh, I love it. It's going to be great. Anyways.
I'm working on my... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I'm working on my gas truck for this weekend.
Yay.
My engine's in Lincoln.
Oh, your new one?
Yeah, I wasn't here to sign for it, so I'll have to have my wife go get it from the post office tomorrow so I can break it in. And I'll have that new, sweet, savory OS 1204 speed engine.
I'm hoping to have
in
Emerson's car, nitro car, running again with a new engine in it. I got to break in.
Yeah.
Hopefully by
I'm probably gonna
October.
I'm gonna run probably 10 tanks through it. I don't know. I think that should break it in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't figured out what I'm going to get yet, but I'll figure it out.
Dude, do it.
Mid-October.
Do what I did.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I've had my heart set on one of those Ultimates. I mean,
yeah,
they're an OS. They're an OS based engine.
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be hard to beat that speed. I just go OS and be done with it. That or get an Adam Drake edition motor or a Ronda Drake edition motor and have that sweet pink head.
Yeah. Well, and
That'd
it
be cool.
comes with the one I'm thinking about getting comes with a pipe too, pipe and manifold all together in one, and it's not badly priced at all.
Is it a one-piece manifold?
Yes, I think so.
I wouldn't get that.
Why not?
Because it's one piece. Like, you want that thing to flex at all those different points that it's put together so it doesn't break or come off.
One piece
like
manifold. You mean like a... Oh, I'm talking about just with the springs and all that.
Oh,
I don't know the terminology anymore.
I thought you meant the pipe was one piece.
No, I thought they called those one piece when you got them with the springs and all that. Remember? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
That's how much I've been out of nitro for as long as I have been. Which is funny because our Techno series does great, so you would think I would know the terminology more. Yeah,
you would, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are. So otherwise, talking about the Roarnats, I didn't. You know, the cool thing is, other than no bumps and other than the turnout being a little low, I mean, there really wasn't much controversy at this one, which is good. I didn't hear anything. Did you?
No.
I didn't read anything. I didn't even see anything. It seemed like the race itself was pretty bang bang. It seemed like pretty much, I think with the exception of Cole Tollard, I think if you TQ'd, you pretty much were, I mean, it seemed like all the TQs pretty much took everything.
Yeah.
I think Cole Tollard, that was a cool story from the weekend, having him win his first national title.
Yeah.
And beating Dakota, who's basically like a 10-scale ringer at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, because didn't Dakota TQ every class?
Yeah, he TQ'd all three.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. And that was a cool deal. I tried to go back and watch some of the mains on the live stream, on the Live RC live stream. And I think I watched A1 of Stock Buggy, which was kind of a snoozer. And
yeah, so is A2.
Yeah, and I think I watched two-wheel drive, or no, I watched one of the four-wheel drive mod mains before I think I fell asleep. I mean, honestly, that's kind of how it was. It seemed to be this weekend. I'm not saying that it wasn't exciting, but I am saying that most of the mains were pretty bang bang. There wasn't much.
Hey, if they were doing bumps, I guarantee I would have wanted to watch the B mains.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
This was an interesting weekend too because we had, other than our summer series, which had been scheduled forever, but the Straight Line Showdown was going on this weekend too. And that was Scotty Ernst's first dip into the drag car scene. That
name kind of sounds like it would be like a like a high school anti-drug rally.
Yeah. I mean, it is straight line showdown, so it could be a pro drug rally.
Oh yeah. Maybe.
I
don't know. I just thought it sounded funny.
Did you see what happened? I think they got rained out.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be funny if they still raced in the rain?
I don't
like they had like treaded tires.
Well, and then the crazy thing is that I have been scouring everything to find out how they awarded the race with it being rained out when it did. Because for me, it's not like one of our races where you qualify and you go by qualifying order, right? You're going head to head versus people. So did they just go down the list and find the fast ones, or did they just end it there with the bracket and just divvy everything out that way? I'd like to know, but nobody's posted anything or said anything, so I don't even know how that works.
Maybe this has never happened before, so nobody knows how it's supposed to work. That's
true. But I honestly, if somebody wants to tell me on the chat live today as we're going, that'd be great, because I have looked through Facebook, I've looked through, all these guys that I know that went, and I don't see anything about how this got figured out. I saw pictures of like the ready to run winners and stuff, but other than that, I have no clue how they figured out who to hand guys what, or even if they did at all. They had to have, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
It would have been neat if they had like a tarp that went over the drag strip.
Yeah,
that would have been pretty cool. Like some one-piece tarp that had no way it could ever leak. You just like run them down this long hallway.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the race results and it stops at 12:47, and that's as far as they got, was 12:47, and it was Chris Sanchez versus Ryan Johnson. The one guy had a 2 second, the other one was a 2.1, and that's that. Like after that, I have no clue. There's nothing. So I'd like to know.
Yeah, inquiring minds would like to know. I didn't even know that they got rained out.
Yeah,
until just now.
That's something I'd like to attend at some point. Is either that one or one of these that are local, like the Topeka one in 2 weeks. I'd love to go to that one, but our TCS race is the same weekend, so I have to work.
No.
But I want to go to one of these drag race events at one time. The only problem is that I'm not fast, and so it'd basically just be me essentially handing over $100 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like I get to spend the weekend there watching cool drag races, but at the same time, I want to race. So then I'm just like, well, here's $100. Let me burn it for you.
Yeah.
That'd
be neat.
I got to get better at that. I got to get better at drag racing. Then I'll try to go.
So how fast those guys go? The fast guys go in,
dude.
Whatever. They're a 10 scale quarter mile. Like how miles per hour in
70s.
How many feet?
They were doing 70 miles an hour. The good ones were doing 70s. They were doing 1.9s for times.
And how many feet is that?
132.
132 feet, 70 some miles an hour.
Yeah.
And you're going, how fast are you going?
Upper 50s. I got a ways
upper
to
50s.
go.
Yeah.
I gotta make if I got a 2.4 car so far in Missouri Valley. If I could pick up 2 more tenths of a second consistently, I would be very happy with that.
Yeah.
So I got to figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. The straight line showdown is definitely on a different surface than what we run on in Missouri Valley, though. Like Missouri Valley is like an older asphalt style surface because it used to be an airport.
Mm-hmm.
And like the straight line Showdown, if you looked at the pictures and everything, I mean, it's concrete slab. I mean, it's brand new, fresh concrete. That's what it looks like. So it's a different surface altogether. So I've never even driven on anything like that other than, say, in front of my house.
Yeah.
You know? So
I wonder if that surface has more grip or less grip.
I'm gonna take a stab at it and say it has more grip.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You think it's just more porous? Like, since the material it's made out of is finer than asphalt,
right?
Is.
I think it would have more traction just because it's certainly flatter. Like there's little undulations in the and I'm not dissing the Missouri Valley track. It's super fun to go out there and they do a really good job. But it looked flatter, and then of course the materials like a lot tighter, a lot closer together. You know, whereas the asphalt stuff that we're racing on, it's a little bit farther apart, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's been prepped and then washed away and then prepped and then washed away. So it has this kind of, you know, on no prep days, I think that there's a little bit of residue there.
Yeah.
That's just my thought, my opinion.
Yeah, there might be.
So, I don't know. Overall, this was a pretty good weekend for RC car racing, though, because the Nats, even though the turnout, and that's something I wanted to discuss too, was the turnout. It was less than 200 for the 10 scale race. Do you think that has?
Yeah.
Do you think that has anything more to do with COVID, or the timing of the race, or a little bit of both?
I don't think it has anything to do with COVID, really. People that are going to race are going to race, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't met anybody yet. It's like, I'm not racing until COVID is completely over with. I haven't, but I don't talk to a lot of people, you know?
I've talked to a few.
Really?
Yeah. A couple of our local racers that haven't been around for the last
But I
year and a
mean,
half.
guys that are gonna go to a Nats.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Those guys. At least that's my opinion.
It was cool to see the Canadians there, Tessman and Sousa.
Yeah.
You know, they were.
I think
they were freed from the Canadian cage.
Yeah. That sounds like a sweet pay-per-view wrestling match. The Canadian cage.
Canadian cage.
Instead of an octagon, they have like a maple leaf.
Yeah.
Fenced in.
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
What?
Like a WWE style wrestling event, except the ring is in the shape of a maple leaf.
Yeah. They're like, "You're not my guy." And everybody like cheers, and like instead of like Stone Cold Steve Austin like slamming a 6-pack of Coors Light on his face and chugging the whole thing, it's like maple syrup.
Don't call me guy, friend.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, guy." Like they're like super nice to each other.
Yeah, you were talking about me. What's this all about?
We need more internet money.
Anyways, back to the results. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have one.
I think it more had to do with like maybe the location. I don't know. I have no idea. And not the venue, but where it is in the country.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe no way you want to go that far. I wonder what the entries were for the last one they had there. Was it full?
I thought so. Yeah, in 2017.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was.
I mean, that would be a good indicator. I like Mimi's track. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
When I was there, nothing against the track. I just wondered if it had to do with, like the physical location it was in.
And they made it a little bit bigger this time too.
Yeah. And the driver's stand looked nice.
It's weird.
I saw. They
made the track bigger, but the lap times were still crazy fast, like 13 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like the kind of the elephant in the room is the Elmer's glue surface.
Right.
But when I was there, when we didn't blow the track off, we swept the track, and Mimi didn't like having the dust like blown everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So like, she would like wanted the track watered every night, and I have a feeling that the Elmer's glue is just to keep the dust down, because I know she doesn't like the dust.
Yeah. Well,
And that's legitimate.
It's legitimate.
If
But
you think about it, huh?
If you have an indoor off-road track, though, you're going to have dust.
Yeah, but we go to tracks all the time where there's like black mold growing all over the walls and stuff, and
Right.
you leave in the middle of winter and you get sick just because of the environments. And I can understand not wanting to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So, that or it would be like closer to hypoallergenic if you had asthma or something. You could go there and race without having a big old asthma attack.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't been there since they did it, but these are just all hypotheticals.
Yeah. The track seemed, to me, the track seemed a little one-lined. And again,
was.
I know how much work it goes into these things, so you're never going to hear me, like, I'm not dissing the track in any way or the work that was put into it or anything like that. But once they started racing, it seemed not only was it really fast, but just like, I was thinking to myself, where are they going to pass at?
Yeah.
And
right.
It seemed, and I think that's why the mains kind of ended up being the way they were. There wasn't much shuffling around in position.
Yeah.
If everybody was clean, didn't run into stuff, they almost probably would have ran nose to tail the whole time. I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Well, even like Matthew Gonzalez's car looked really loose at the end of his 8.2. Like the last few laps, that thing was slideways all the way through the last section of the track, and he could have been blowing lines just because he was probably like nervous. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'd have been shaking too.
Yeah,
if
me
I was
too.
gonna win if I was gonna win a national title. You know what I mean? But what I'm getting at here is the groove is that narrow. Like, you couldn't blow a corner, because even like watching qualifiers, there'd just be a car just randomly whoop, like flip around right in front of everybody, and it's like, that was weird. But
yeah. And then one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
The short course.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, and I'd say for the last 5 years, I have to go back and I should have gone back and looked at the results from the last, say, 5 years. But I remember 2016. I don't remember there being a full heat of mod. We might have had a full heat of stock, but definitely not a full heat of modified short course. And I don't think since then there's been a full heat of either stock or modified. And this one had 5 entries in each.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like at nationals, and I know here we are talking about entries not being over 200, but I feel like at this race, I think that class has got to go.
Yeah.
Because then you're sitting there, you're begging for marshals at a national,
Yeah. I think they'd have better luck with Mini Truggy.
Maybe Mini Truggy's pretty regional too. I mean, it's really popular here.
Oh, really? I thought it was just popular everywhere.
I think it's pretty good. I think even OCRC usually has a heat of it on their race nights, but I don't know. We'll see. But I just feel like maybe it would help tighten up the ship a little bit too if they just stopped having short course at the nationals.
Yeah, I could agree with that. It's just kind of like its time's kind of passed.
I mean, yes, I agree. I watched Rivkin's, like J Concepts posted some of Rivkin's practice laps with his.
Mm-hmm.
And on that track, that thing looked like a handful to drive.
Yeah.
Like that thing wanted to tip over all the time, like nonstop.
Like, yeah, I know. I mean,
couldn't have been that fun to drive. And if you asked Spencer, I'm sure he would be very professional and say, "Oh no, it's fun. It's having a good time." But I couldn't imagine that being very fun to drive. Wheeling that thing around, knowing that at any second it felt like it was gonna, tumble.
Yeah. Well, and maybe the time for that class has kind of passed because the surface has changed too much.
Right.
Like there's not like a lot of low grip tracks anymore. I mean, we're running cars that we would have run on carpet 5 years ago on dirt.
Right. No. And where you can, but where you can drive on a more loose type dirt, they're having a lot of success with short course. Take, for instance, Hobby Haven.
Yeah.
Wednesday nights at Hobby Haven. They have like 2 heats of short course.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of track where it needs to be is out fun. That's why I say on a national level, I'm like, this has got it. We got to cut this off at some point. But on a regional level, right?
Yeah.
I can see it still being offered on a regional level because there are still pockets where it still works good and where it's still very popular.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. They look cool still. I mean, you can put a pretty awesome paint scheme on them,
Mm-hmm.
But they just, I don't know. It just looked like it handled like a school bus.
Yeah.
Anyways, we need to talk about our summer series. But before I get there, Bill Collins in the chat said the pad at Great Lakes Dragway for the straight line showdown is asphalt. And they normally use it as a drift pad. And the section they used was the newest asphalt they had.
Ooh.
So I was wrong. It looked very light to me, which is why I thought it would have been concrete. But nope, it's asphalt. So.
Hey, do you know how they did the guy that commented? Do you know how they did the stuff?
We want to know how they actually awarded everything. We're all still in the dark about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. There's not really. There is probably going to be a big product announcement this week, but we'll have to talk about it next week because.
Is it for racing?
No. Maybe. One of them might be.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
It's not 10th scale. I know that. So.
Do I know what it is?
Nope. You have no idea.
Have I ever owned one before?
Nope.
Is it electric?
Yes.
Does it have a pull start?
An electric pull start?
Yeah.
Nope. You'll just have to wait. Everybody on here, you'll have to wait. So.
Oh, can you tell me later?
I can tell you later. I'm not going to tell the world because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get our store in trouble.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Summer series. Let's talk about our summer series. This is what everybody's on here for.
How about that?
Yeah. So Team Associated Summer Series, Team Associated Reedy powered Summer Series at the Plex, round 5, 2021. Another really good, solid day. I've said this before. I'll keep saying it. This has probably been the best run of RC racing that we've ever seen. As far as, I kind of found the word for it now. I think it's a culture. I think we have a very good racing culture at the Hobbyplex where you don't a lot of the typical or the stereotypical freakouts and weird kind of cliquish stuff that can happen at tracks a lot where people feel like they're left out or they're being ignored and stuff like that. It just feels like overall as a group, because we had 164 entries again, 88 drivers. I feel like as a group, everybody seems to get along. there, we don't have any sort of animosities that we may have experienced in the past. And I would say it's been going on now for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, how about that?
I
mean, that's good,
Yeah. There was also a big points day. A lot of big movement in the points as we get on here. So, we'll just get to the results real fast. Starting with Plex Spec. So Dalton Conrad, who is going to move up out of Plex Spec here shortly, he took the TQ, but Lexi Bolin took the win.
Okay.
Dalton finished second, and Diego Quintana ended up finishing third. And then a couple kids were really close to getting maybe their first podium, and it was Dylan Haast and Josh Benson. Josh has made the podium. I don't think Dylan has yet, but he was so close. He'll get there. Eli Vanderbeek finishing sixth. So the cool thing about...
that was pretty awesome.
The cool thing about Eli is he started out the year kind of in the B and bumping up into the A main. And then I think last round he qualified straight into the A, but finished, 8th or 9th or whatever. And this time he qualified 7th and he ended up finishing 6th. So that's a good move up for Eli. Ariana Smith with another good one, finishing 7th. Mario Quintana finished 8th. Alex Eichler was 9th. And Isabella McMullen had a really good qualifying effort. She's the one that runs that Traxxas Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up finishing 10th. And with Dalton getting the TQ in second, he did lock up Plex Spec. He's the only driver to lock up a championship at the end of round 5, which sometimes happens. Some years more than others. So good job for Dalton, but that also means he's banned from Plex.
No.
Unless it's Friday night. Friday nights I don't care, but for Saturday racing, he can no longer race Plex Spec. He has to race 13.5 wheeler or something like that.
Bittersweet wins.
Bittersweet. Independent buggy B main. Somebody said something. I'm not sure what happened there. I'll have to go back and look at the results, but I don't think it would have mattered in the bump up situation. Yep. Sam Saunders was on here like, hey, it says I was last in Indy Buggy, but I wasn't. So I'll have to go back and look. I don't think it mattered in the bump up scheme. So then we get into mod 4-wheel drive, and we knocked that one out, one of the fast ones out right away. And the cool thing about that one was, so Tom Ritternecht has missed 2 now. He was at he missed one for the I believe it was for the Hobby Action INS race.
Oh yeah.
And then now he was at the Nats. So he was leading 4-wheel drive, but now he's not because he's not there. So that opens it up to the rest of the field. And Ethan Delaire got his first ever Summer Series win.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. From the 3rd qualifying spot, ended up taking the win. I am going to have all these on YouTube, hopefully tonight after we're done. I started to put them on last night, but then I remembered that if you put more than 3 videos on in a day, then you don't get the ping anymore. And I started putting videos on last night at like midnight. And then after the second one, I was like, oh crap, I'm going to have to wait because I want the ping to happen for this, for our podcast here. Alex Vanderbeek still finished second. Dave Alberico came up again. He had a good finish, third. Owen Vanderbeek, 4th. Derek Wood was 5th. Brandon Carney with his best finish at a Summer Series race in 6th. Bradley Peterson, Tyler Patnaud, Rob Sturgill coming from Colorado. And then Tommy broke out. He hit that kink in the straightaway again and broke his car again.
So, the Widowmaker.
Yeah, I guess. I'm gonna tomorrow I'm gonna go fix that.
Yeah.
40 plus mod buggy. This was a pretty fun one. It was turning out to be another classic between me and Mac. I got around him kind of early through the state line section. And then I made a little mistake, and then I got him around again. He did that donkey flip and the double doubles.
Yeah.
And I ended up not getting caught up in it, and pretty much led from that point on. While that was going on, there was a battle between Brian David and Brian Burnt back there. And then eventually Rob Sturgill looks like he was part of that too. But the Brian Cox got third by 0.2 of a second over David Peevler.
Wow.
And
yeah, I didn't see any of that because I was watching and talking about you guys up front. Like,
yeah,
I was even paying because your race is constantly moving around too.
Mm-hmm. I did see David. I think it was David and Brian Burnt that got collected up behind us. Because for the first couple laps there, dude, it was the four of us. It was me, it was Mac, me, and then David and Brian. And Brian Cox was kind of back there in fifth. And then I think something happened between David and Brian, and all of a sudden that gap just opened up. And then I rewatched the race, and at the end of the race, there was a mad scramble for that third spot.
Yeah.
So Brian Burnt was fifth. Sturgill got a sixth. Kurt Benson was seventh. Josh McMillan was eighth. And so the points on this one, just going off of memory, we keep trading. So whoever was TQing was not winning. So
yeah,
Mac and I were tied after the third round because of that. Well, then he got a TQ and win last month. And so even with my win, we basically tied in points. So he still has a 2-point lead over me.
Yeah.
So if he TQs round 6 here at the finals and I win, he still wins the whole thing. So
but if you TQ and
if I TQ and win, it'll be devastation for Mac because I'll have the points tiebreakers because I've won more. Because we'll be tied in points and we'll be tied in throwouts. It's like the worst case scenario for points. So if I TQ and win, then basically I have to TQ and win because I've got more wins basically. So
yeah,
essentially speaking, all Mac has to do is at least TQ.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if he TQs and gets third, right, and I get second, no, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy what can happen. Like if he TQs but then like breaks, then it's utter devastation. So it's going to come down to the last. It's going to come down to the last one. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I won last year in 40 plus, so I honestly wouldn't feel bad if Mac took it because they well deserved.
Yeah.
That being said, it would be cool to repeat.
Mm-hmm.
In 13.5 Stadium Truck, Brian Burnt was back. Last month he was moving his daughter. Now he's back. He took a TQ and win again. John Berding with a really good finish, finished second. Tyler Fleming with another good finish was third. I think these two guys, something happened at the start of this race, and they jumped up there right away to second and third and kind of stayed there, if I remember correctly. Brian Cox was fourth. Ben Ford was fifth. Nick Sneathen with a good finish from 10th was sixth. Brady Poppenow was seventh. Darren Ryder was eighth. TJ Williams was ninth. And Dayton Mosier, I think he broke out and finished 10th. Two-wheel drive mod buggy.
No. Don't remind me.
So Alex got a TQ, but on like the second lap, he wrecked, just straight up traction rolled, and had to fight back to get the lead again. And then Ethan Delaire on the first lap, the first time over the new section, coming into the backside, we have this really cool, big, long, really, you can basically, you turn right and then you just hammer it into this hump, and then you jump it sort of, and then there's another hump that you turn right on. He flipped right there, just straight up traction rolled. So I watched the video and I'm like, oh, that's what happened.
Yeah.
So he was dead last at that point, and he clearly had probably the faster car than everybody.
Yeah.
But that start just killed him. It just took it away. But Alex Vanderbeek did come back to take the win. He finally got around you. You led for about 3 minutes or something like that. I mean, it was you were doing all you could to keep your car close to the pipes.
Yeah, it was hard to keep Alex behind me.
And what happened when he got around you too? You just went a little wide. It's almost like you had to catch your car from flipping, and it was all it took for him to get by. And then the next two kind of worked their way around you. And then there was just a squabble.
Well, Ethan crashed on that double going up the hill.
Yeah.
And I ran into his flipped over car. Brian was going out to get it, and I couldn't see where his car was. And because he was behind Brian, I think. I can't even remember. It happened so fast. But
it was
I
crazy.
ran into him, and then there was a pile of cars that ran into me.
Yeah. So basically, Drew Rubin King got around you again to put into second, and then Ethan was coming. Ethan was in third place. Then he had another crash, and then all of a sudden, David, Derek, and you were all kind of right there. And for about 2 or 3 laps, I mean, it could have been anybody's spot to take, really. Derek actually had it for about half a lap.
Yeah.
And then he made a little bobble, and Ethan got back around him. You kind of got shuffled down a little bit. So it was Ethan in third, David Alberico was fourth, Derek Wood was fifth. You ended up sixth. Cody Lundberg was seventh, Owen Vanderbeek eighth. Mitchell Pavel was ninth, and Brandon Carney was 10th. But, I mean, it was a pretty entertaining race. That's why that was one of the first ones I put on YouTube last night, because I knew that was going to be a pretty good one. Plus, I made Emerson film some of these from the driver's stand. 13.5 four-wheel drive. Tyler Patnow kind of walked with this one. Mason Herrick got close a couple times. Jackson Anderson kind of stumbled a little bit, but he climbed his way back to get third. Caden Bairding had a really good finish. Chance Rolk was fifth. Brent Riley had a really good finish. He was going to make the main anyways, and he got kind of screwed in his qualifier. So it was good to see him get the bump and then finish sixth. Peevler was seventh. Nick Pavel was eighth. Ashley McCormick was ninth, and Bryson Pavel was 10th. Now, we'll talk about points here in a little bit, but Tyler's not going to be here for the last one, so he's going to miss 2, so he's out of the points. So I think that puts Jackson and Caden eventually up to first and second, but we'll look at it here in a second. Almost done here. Independent buggy. This was another crazy one. TJ Williams got another TQ. I think he TQ'd last round too, didn't he? In two-wheel drive?
I think so.
So TJ's faster and faster every time. Again, so we put in for the Nats, for the Roar Nats for next year. If we get the race, I did ask them as a deviation to allow us to have a 15 and under stock buggy class. A lot of it is because of these kids that we have that are getting more experience and getting faster, like Cole Webb, although he's 16, so he won't count. But Daniel Bender, TJ Williams, Andrew, oh God, I forgot his last name again. Thompson? Yeah. Who's another kid? There's a couple more that I'm forgetting. Diego Quintana, Dalton Conrad, he gets a two-wheel drive car. So we could have a pretty good local group in a 15 and under class if they let us do it. So, But Cole Webb, from the fifth he struggled in qualifying, but from the fifth qualifying spot, he came to take the win. So this is his third win in a row. And he really strung them together to get up there. Tyler Fleming had another good finish, qualified sixth, but finished second. Daniel Bender got around TJ on the last corner, if I remember correctly, and got a podium here in Independent Buggy at a Summer Series. thought that was pretty awesome. TJ got 4th with the TQ that he gets 3rd place points. So, that's why you don't quit for sure. Even if you're down on yourself or having a bad run, we got to get TJ to just focus and finish.
Yeah.
Jake Poteet finished 5th. Jeff Thorson from the bump spot up to 6th. Jerry Doherty finished 7th. Matt Mosier was 8th. Nick Pavlo was 9th. And Brady Popenow broke out and ended up in 10th. Mini Truggy. Officially, Dustin Hosick has not won this class yet, officially, but unofficially, it's pretty. I mean, something crazy would have to happen. I think he's got like a 5-point lead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he took the TQ and win. Emerson didn't practice at all Friday, and then he apparently was sleeping and showed up at like 11:30. So no practice either. So his first qualifier was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
His second qualifier was better. Ended up qualifying 2nd, and that's kind of where he stayed. He had a shot, honestly. He was just as fast as Dustin, but he just crashed too much. Bryson Pavel got a 3rd, which is great. Patrick Mitrovic, I think that's one of his best finishes in this class, finishing 4th. And then Dylan Hartshorn, man, he was up there. He was battling for 2nd with Emerson for a good half of this race. His truck looked great. He was driving really good. Ended up 5th. Jake Poteet was 6th. Rob Turner was 7th. John Haas was 8th. Ben Ford was 9th. And Logan Prismanis was 10th. And then expert stock. This one was all about the out-of-towners. Jackson Anderson TQ'd and then choked. Still got a 4th. So, it is what it is. He really needed to get ahead of Jeremy Fellas in the points, though. He needed something better than that.
Yeah.
Cody Lundberg from the 3rd spot pretty much just walked away from everybody once he got the lead. He was pretty much gone. Pat Nowd, Tyler, finished 2nd, and then Mason Herrick finished 3rd. Then it was Jackson. Dustin Hosick was 5th. Chad Ruben King was 6th. David Peevler was 7th. Brent Riley was 8th. Chance Roke was 9th. And Ashlyn McCormick was 10th. And then before we get to comments or questions and a pivot break, I want to go to the points really quick here.
Okay.
And just got to get there. They're there. Let's see if it'll let me. Okay. So I'm just going to go with, so we give awards to top 10 at the end of the series. So in 13.5 buggy, Jackson Anderson right now has 400 points. The next closest Tyler Patnow with 396, but he's not going to be here the next round, so he's going to be out. So then that'll move Caden Bairding up to 2nd at 391. So for Jackson to lose 13.5, he would have to have some sort of catastrophic failure for the last one. So he's technically, because you got to get 500 points at least to get the whole championship. It's best 5 out of 10, and he's got 498. So, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Chance Rolk right now is 4th. Ruben King is 5th. David Peevler is 6th. Ashley McCormick is 7th. They're 1 point apart for that 6th position. Dustin Hosick is 8th. Brent Riley is 9th. And TJ Williams is 10th. And he's got 10 points over Matt Mosier. So TJ's looking to get he didn't make the main. I don't think he did. No, he was in the B. So, but even with that, he's still looking to get in a plaque in this one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Stadium truck. Again, this one's not technically locked up, but again, another catastrophic failure would have to happen really for Brian Burnt to lose this championship. So Brian's got 401 points. Tyler Fleming's got 394. He's tied with John Bairding for 2nd and 3rd, so that one's going to have to come down to the last one. Brian Cox is 4th. TJ Williams is 5th. Justin Stevie 6th. Brady Popenow 7th. Nick Sneathen 8th. Josh Catron is 9th. And Josh Ryan is 10th. So Josh has got a huge lead for that 10th spot. So it looks like he's going to take home a plaque. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
In expert stock buggy, Jeremy Fellas wasn't here. So his throwout is now a 0. And he's got 1 point over Jackson Anderson and Tyler Patnoud. And again, Tyler's not going to be here. So the next person is Cody Lundberg, and he will be here. So Cody right now looking at a 3rd overall. They're pretty far apart. Second and Jackson and Cody are pretty far apart on points. So that one's kind of figured out. Ruben King's 5th, Dustin Hosick is 6th, David Peevler 7th, Chance Rolk is 8th, Brent Riley's 9th, and Caden Berdin's 10th. Brent and Caden are tied back there for 9th and 10th. And the other close races really are Chad, Dustin, and David. That could shuffle around for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Everything else seems kind of set in stone. 40 and over mod buggy, we already talked about this one. Mac Vanderbeek has 501 points. I have 499 points. So again, if I get a TQ and win, all of a sudden we're tied, and I would have more wins.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't come down to that. But that's the only way for me to win. So I guess, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. 3rd place is Peevler. 4th is Brian Burnt. Brian Cox is 1 point off of Brian Burnt, which always seems to be how those two end up finishing. In 5th, Kurt Benson, Josh McMullen, Phil Palmer, Matt Robinson back there in 9th. And actually, I think he's missed too many. So this one's probably only going to go down to 7 places. Independent buggy, one of our biggest turnouts, Tyler Fleming. Oh, yeah, this is going to be crazy. So Tyler Fleming has 395 points right now. That's including the throwout. Cole Webb is 394. Justin Stevie also has 394. So your top 3 are within 1 point. And I'm pretty sure they're all going to be there. So that's going to be that'll be kind of crazy. Between the group, Cole Webb has the most wins. But remember, your first tiebreaker is low score. And Cole's opening round is an 83.
Ooh.
And Justin missed a round, so he's a 0. Tyler Fleming's lowest score is a 97.
Oh. Okay.
So if there's a tie for the lead, it looks like Fleming would have the tiebreak.
Yeah. It appears so.
Yeah. Then a little ways back is TJ Williams 4th, and he's tied with Daniel Bender, for 4th and 5th place. So it's going to have to come down to their final race to determine who gets the top 5. Matt Mosier's 3 points off of them in 6th. Jake Poteet's a ways back in 7th. Brady Popenow. Jana Peevler going to get a top 10 after winning Plex Spec last year. And Phil Palmer right now is sitting 10th.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
How about that?
Yeah, about that, yeah. Plex Spec. Like I said, Dalton Conrad's got this one locked up. So he's got 500 points. The most points that Lexi Bolin can get now is 498 points. So Dalton doesn't even have to race Plex Spec next week if he doesn't want to.
Time to test the waters in the big boy class.
Yep, exactly. Lexi Bolin 2nd, Diego 3rd, Josh Benson 4th, Grayson Stevie 5th, Dylan Haas 6th, Ariana Smith 7th, Eli Vanderbeek 8th, Mario Quintana is 9th, Isabella McMullen is 10th. Alex Eichler, who made the main, I think that's one of his first mains that he's made. The first round he made the main, but I think there was only like 8 cars. So with more than 10 cars, I'm pretty sure that Saturday was the first main event that he's made in Plex Spec at Summer Series. But he's 6 points off of Isabella. So he's got to finish 6 spots higher than her to get that 10th spot. And in Mini Truggy, Dustin's got 401 points. And so Emerson's got 397. So they're 4 points apart basically it would take a break or something like that, I think, for Dustin to lose. Mini Truggy. Patrick Mitrovic is third. Matt Robinson and Bryson Pavel are tied for fourth and fifth. John Haas and Dylan Hartshorn are tied for sixth and seventh. Chad Irwin is eighth. Jake Poteet is ninth. And Ronnie Wint right now is 10th.
Ronnie.
The gap between second and third is more than 10 points. So it looks like first and second are kind of locked in, respectively. Mod two-wheel drive. So with Rinderknecht out, Alex Vanderbeek has 500 points. So he has won Mod two-wheel, actually.
Man, that's good, though, for him.
Yep, 500 points. So he's I think he won last year, so he's gone back-to-back.
Yeah.
Drew Rubin King right now is sitting second. And like I said, the most points that he can have is 495. So Alex, he's got it. Ethan Delaire right now is third. And then you are fourth.
I'll take it.
Aiden Olson is 1 point behind you. But I believe he said he wasn't going to be at the last two because he's in college.
Yeah.
And then Derek Wood is sixth right now. Nate Sutherland is seventh. Bradley Peterson eighth. Owen Vanderbeek is ninth. And Jeremy Fellas is 10th. And then if Aiden does miss out on the last one, that would move up Mitchell Pavel into the top 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mod four-wheel drive. Let's see. Alex Vanderbeek has 5-point lead over Ethan Delaire. And he's not locked it up yet. So he's got 493 points. Well, if I'm doing my math right, he might have four-wheel drive as well, because I think the most points that Ethan can get now is 492. So even without hitting the magic number of 500, I think, because this class is all over the map as far as points go, I think he's actually locked in no matter what. But Ethan Delaire up into that 2 spot. Nate Sutherland is third. Aiden Olson right now fourth. Drew Rubin King, Owen Vanderbeek, Derek Wood, Bradley Peterson. And then I think that's it. I think that's all that's made that, unless I'm missing somebody. Oh, there it is right there. Mitchell Pavel is 9th and Brandon Carney is 10th.
Oh, wow.
And he's got a big enough lead over Tom Smith that it'd have to take something really crazy for him to not get that 10th place plaque. And that's it. That's our points for this year. So it looks like I was wrong. I think the two mod classes seem to be figured out and Plex specs figured out.
Yeah.
But that independent buggy finish is going to be nuts. That's really going to be the one to watch on the 18th. So, you want to take our pivot break, and then we'll get to the chat, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Yeah!
This is a Pivot Lending Update with David Olson and Don Zoller. Get some.
This is David Olson from Pivot Lending Group, and wanted to go through some new programs that we have onboarded and that are on the horizon. Pretty exciting stuff for the buyers that are coming into the middle of the spring purchase season, as well as opening up the June buying season and summer buying season. We have a lock and shop program now. So you can come in to Pivot Lending for a small deposit. You can actually lock a interest rate or reserve your interest rate for X period of time while you're out looking for a home. This is really beneficial because just within the last probably 5 months, the interest rates have gone up about 50 basis points. So where we were at below close to hovering around 2.5, below 3 for sure on a 30-year. We jumped up to about 3.75. Now we're back down to around that 3 range, but definitely higher than where we're at the first of the year. Come down a little bit, and we're looking for probably another correction. We're moving up as inflation heats up. So if you're out looking for a house and you know that you're pretty confident you're going to find something within the next 90 days or the next 120 days, give us a call on that, because I can save you quite a bit of money over the long term, and the interest, especially if there's that jump again, as far as some of the job numbers and inflationary things that are coming out. So lock and shop. When you're calling in, you want to ask for Don Zoller, ask for me. You can call me on my cell anytime, 402-881-5951, and also reach out to Don. So the lock and shop program, we're excited about long-term locks. We can go out to a year on a long-term lock. So if you are in the market for new construction and you're looking to have a finish date within, I'd say 8 to 12 months or 6 to 8 months, we've got a great long-term lock program. So you can give us a call and ask about that. In addition to the lock and shop program, the long-term rate program, we're putting our finishing touches on an I-10 program. So the I-10 programs are great for those folks that have the tax identification number instead of a Social Security number, and you're looking to purchase a home or refinance. Give us a call.
David Olson, NMLS 16099. Don Zoller, NMLS 277589. Pivot Lending, NMLS 109995.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
I feel like with Aiden Olson's dad giving out his cell phone number, it leaves the option open to call him and be like, "Is this Aiden Olson's dad?" And then they're being like, he'd be like, "Yes." I'm like, "You should give your son $1,000." Like, just see, like, calls Aiden. "Hey, I just had somebody threaten me to give you money." Like, that'd be so funny.
That'd be funny.
Anyways, not much in the chat tonight, so this will be quick. But Andrew Barrett's on here. Tom Baker was on here. John Haas here as always. Cole Webb wanted to know if we talked about results. He should know better. We usually go towards the end for that.
Yeah.
The Great Lakes thing, the straight line showdown, again, is very interesting. We still have not had any updates on how they actually figured out who to give what. So maybe I'll try to make some context this week, and we can talk about it next week.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah. I've got a couple that agree with me about short course.
Yeah.
Jason Haley said they were begging for marshals for the stock buggy A main.
Yeah, I heard that.
Here's what happens at those things though. So, so the way that they run traditionally AAA mains is that they run usually. I guess I didn't see how they did it this time, but normally you would run your first set of AAA mains first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then you run a bunch of lower mains. And then you have the A2s. And then you have the A3s at the end.
Yeah.
So the last race of the A mains is supposed to marshal the first race of the A mains if they did it that way. And what'll happen is it'll be a pro race or something, and those guys are all still in bed. You know, or they're not there yet, or for whatever reason, and so then you gotta beg and scream for marshals. Or if they did it, I guess I didn't see this again, but if they did it where they ran some lower mains, and then the last lower main from the night before is supposed to marshal that first race, a lot of times those guys aren't there. Like I know at the Nitro race that I did, they tried to do it that way. They're like, well, we'll just use the last race from last night. And I'm like, why would you do that? Half of those people are going to be gone. And we're just sitting there screaming for marshals for 20 minutes. So I guess I didn't see I should have looked at the heat sheets just to see how they did it, but a lot of times it's just a struggle to get that first A main, everything lined up.
Mm-hmm.
There's been talk a lot of not having it be like that. Like, you know, at some of the nitro races, they don't want to have it where the semi group is supposed to marshal the first main of that day, because you have instances where they don't marshal, and then you got to give penalties.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they expect that those guys, since they don't have to run for 6 hours, you know, they get to sleep in a little bit, or
yeah,
you know, they just don't have to be there first, you know, at 7 a.m. in the morning or whatever they start those lower mains.
Yeah,
I can see that. You know, that's why it's nice to be a mid-pack runner. Then you don't have to worry about it. Like if I'm in the C main, then great. Is that your wife getting home?
No, somebody just knocked on my door.
Oh, really?
I should totally go see what it is.
Okay, go see what it is. And, take your phone.
Yeah, I'm just taking it with me.
All right, that's cool.
It's probably
what if it's a robber and we end up like catching a felony on live on YouTube?
Yeah, there's no brownies. Oh, they just rang the doorbell.
Aren't your dogs the one where you knock on the door and they bark?
One second here. Hello?
Hi, sorry. I'll be quick.
That's okay.
For a lot of your neighbors, I don't know if you know Corey J up the street over here. If you know Dan Bernice, we're taking care of their bugs and spiders. Do you guys have someone that does it for you guys?
No, but I'm okay. We don't have any.
No, you're okay. No one's infested by the inside. Are you guys homeowners or renters?
We're homeowners.
Perfect. You're here for home right away.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I just did the siding and windows.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's awesome. It looks great. But yeah. Anyways, the biggest thing around here is the spiders. A lot of the neighbors are not smelling. A couple of the ants here and there, but nothing.
Okay.
Is she talking about spiders?
Every month, every 2 months, it's just every single month. All the bugs, basically.
Okay.
Now, especially since you have a cute little dog in there, fix it, please.
Yeah.
All the rodents we want to property.
Is that like door-to-door pest control sales? Never heard of such a thing.
I really appreciate it. I'm actually in the middle of recording a podcast. And I was like, well, somebody's or somebody's knocking on the door, so let's go see who it is. So,
Okay.
but anyway,
So sorry.
it's okay. Yeah.
Do you mind if I stop by a different time?
I'm probably fine. I appreciate your time, though.
Yeah, just tell her no. For God's sakes.
Thank you.
Just be like, I was hoping it was a Jehovah's Witness.
I was hoping it was the Aloe people, because I was ready to end somebody. So they sit and they wait for you to come home. They'll park at the end of the street and they wait for you to come home, and then they come up to your door and knock on the door knowing that you're home. Well, they did that, and I took the dogs out. I had the dogs outside unleashed, and unleashed. Anyway, no leash on them. And so this guy starts coming up the driveway, and the dogs start going nuts, and I didn't know that there's somebody there. Well, Braxton, he's a biter.
Yeah.
The little one, he doesn't know you. He'll just like he's like, "Who are you coming into our yard?" And like bite him. And so like, I don't want to have to put a dog down because he bites the wrong person, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
so like, I've told him no. I don't know how many times, just not to waste their time. And if that was the Aloe people again, like, you would have had some really, really good content. Because Aaron handled the guy, and I had the dogs. Well, the guy started leaving. I was going to go back outside and everything. Yeah, yell at him a lot, and make sure they never came back to my house. And because one of them waited for me, it was like 0 degree, like -20 one of the Aloe people, and I've told them no, I don't know how many times, and they just keep coming back. I was gonna make sure they wouldn't come back, but
Right.
it wasn't them. So
Well, everybody said that you were very nice to her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's, that's impressive.
Yeah, thanks. You know me, Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
I can be very nice. I can be the exact opposite if I need to.
So Sam said on here that independent buggy B main said that he got last when he got fourth. I'll have to look into it. Sometimes for whatever reason somebody misses a lap and I miss it. I usually keep up with that, but there was one race.
If it's the last lap, it's hard not to.
I think the stadium truck B main, I accidentally hit false start instead of finish again.
Oh.
But I knew who won and who got second for the bump, so I just reran it and did it by hand.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. Andy and Tom both agree that our environment at the Plex is pretty good right now, and I hope to keep it that way. So Chris Hardiston's on here, and Brian P is on here. TJ Williams, Lance Murray's on here. Will a ProTech Black Label steel gears fit a 160T servo? And I just went on AMAIN and looked, and there's the brushless metal gear servo set, and then the regular 160T servo set, and I'm pretty sure that they are different. So you got to make sure that you get the PTK dash 3036, which I believe we have at the Plex. We have a couple of them.
Yeah.
Everybody's on here is chatting about your encounter there. Lance Murray says, "Oh my God, kill those damn spiders."
I don't have any. I don't have any spiders.
John Haas is like, she didn't take the first no. It's good on her.
Mm-hmm.
Brent Riley's on here.
I couldn't hear anything. I had my headphones in. I couldn't hear anything she was saying.
Oh.
You're like, well, and I didn't want to video her and without her consent.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Last question. Then we got to get out of here. When is the regionals race? So that is October 2nd.
Okay.
And basically, just almost consider it like almost like a seventh round of the summer series, because it's almost all the same classes except no 40 plus, but we're adding short course again on the regional level. I think it's appropriate. But other than that, it's all the same classes. We're doing it in one day. We're gonna have 3 qualifiers instead of 2, and the main structure is gonna be all the same. So should be
single mains.
Okay. Yep. Should be pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
So, and then with that, we got carpet season coming up for those of you guys that want to race carpet. The first race is on the 16th. I got to hype up regionals and our enduro.
Yeah.
Is
our enduro on a Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'd probably be able to do it then.
Yeah, I moved it to Saturday. Sunday is just kind of, because it runs so late, it's not.
Yeah.
It wasn't conducive.
Yeah. Are you building? Do you have a car?
Not yet. I need to find one.
What are you gonna build?
I'm tempted to get that brand new 22 that I bought from Rona, but I don't want to get it dirty. It's so new.
No, don't run that car. That thing's new.
I know, it's mint. I don't know yet. I'll figure it out. I got a little while yet. I got a couple weeks yet. I'll figure it out.
I'll be on your team.
Okay.
If you want me to.
Okay.
I've never run one of those on off-road before.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, they're always on Sundays, so I just never did them.
Yeah. 1,000 laps. So.
We
got a big track build coming up Sunday the 3rd, October 3rd through the 6th. We're putting the oval back in. And so that'll be the Sunday immediately following the regional race. I got to go right back to the Plex and start tearing everything up. So, Brent Riley asks, what time does practice start on Friday for the regionals? 10 a.m. We're going to have a full day of practice for that one.
It's too bad we couldn't do the Enduro all stock slash.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be fun. I have a slash I could use, but I did that last time and it didn't survive.
Yeah.
And I know it won't survive, so I want to do something for real this time.
Yeah, do a for real car.
Yeah. That's about it. We're kind of this show today's been, I feel like it's been kind of all over the place. But that's okay.
Yeah. It's summer.
I just took a nap too. Like I came here straight from a nap.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, we better go. We're here kind of late, so.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure that you get a hold of Pivot Lending Group. You can find them at pivotlending.com. If you're in the refinance or home loan market, and mention our show to Don Zoller or Aiden Olson's dad, who has given out his cell phone number in that little ad there. You can call him directly. And mention our show, get $500 lender credit or 0.125 off your interest rate, and make it happen. So,
yeah, do it.
We got regular club racing next week, and then a little break, and then we're finishing up our epic 2021 summer series. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So, yeah, with that, I think we're gonna go.
Okay.